Hi, I'm Marianne, a mum and business owner living here in Scotland.
And I'm Emily, her daughter, figuring out life, love and career chaos while living in Dubai.
Welcome to the Distance Diaries. This is where we catch up on everything. Family wins, career curveballs, the messy moments and the hilarious bits in between.
Every week we share honest, funny and sometimes emotional conversations about staying connected no matter where life takes us.
So grab a cuppa and join us because staying close doesn't have to be complicated.
Let's dive right in. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Distance Diaries. I am Emily, joining you from Dubai.
And I'm Marianne, joining you from Scotland.
Woo! So this week we are diving into something that has caused a bit of a stir on LinkedIn.
It has. It's been stirring me this week, that's for sure.
It has, and that is giving compliments.
Who would have thought that just about giving compliments would have caused such a hoo-ha and interest on LinkedIn?
Not me.
Not me either. And I think it got us thinking about giving compliments. You just I kind of take for granted is one of the ways that you can connect with somebody really easily at a much deeper level and really impact positively their day. Joe? Dead easy. Or is it? As we have since discovered. So will I tell a little bit about the background to this?
Yeah, go on. It's your story.
It's my story. I'm going to own it. So last week I decided to hop on the train, go into town for a meeting. Sounds easy. Went to buy my ticket and the guy who was doing my ticket at the railway said to me as he was giving me it, "Listen, I really like your glasses. They really suit you." And I said, that's lovely. And it's something people will say to me because I think people recognise me sometimes because of the glasses.
Wait, I thought it was your teeth.
No, I'm getting to my teeth.
Oh, sorry, spoiler.
Gosh, you're spoiling the story.
I thought you were like adding arms and legs to
it. But you thought I was lying?
Yeah, I was just going to call you out for lying.
Anyway, thanks for your loyalty. But anyway, no, we didn't get onto the teeth yet. And I said, "Oh, that's lovely." And he says, and by the way, he says, "I think you've got lovely teeth too." And it was just like he was a guy probably my age in his 50s. There was nothing about his energy that was inappropriate. It was just a kind man making a kind observation. And do you know something? He didn't know that I'd got up that morning. I was flapping. I wasn't prepared for my meeting. I hate my hair since I'm perimenopausal and it hadn't went well that morning. Do you know when you just know you weren't feeling great yourself?
Yeah.
And my phone is peeping
away. You did this last week. Turn it off. If it was if the tables were turned, you would be absolutely raging at me.
I would be raging. Right. I need to work
Turn
out
it off.
the notifications off.
Just close the tab.
Oh, right. Okay. So anyway, back to my real worker. So I never thought anything of it, but he didn't know that he'd just really brightened my morning. And then he said, "Listen, I hope you don't take any of that the wrong way." I went, "Why would I?" I says, "You've just made me smile and I'm about to have a much more positive journey than I would have done." I says, "I really appreciate you saying that." And he went, "Oh no," he says, "it's just I complimented a woman's hair once. She had lovely silver hair and she was just out the hairdressers. And I complimented her hair and 2 days later she put in a big complaint about me." And is that no heartbreaking? And I said, I says, "I'm really sorry you had to experience that." I says, "Just keep in mind that you have no idea what was going on in her life at that moment in time. But your intention was a really positive one for her." I says, "and I appreciate that today." So I just took a picture when I got on the train of myself, as you do when you're putting something up on social media. And I popped it up just saying, "Has the world gone PC mad?" And I told my story in a couple of lines about the rail worker. And then I put, do you think, I says, I give compliments to people all the time. I mean, all the time. I'll walk past somebody in the street and I'll go, oh, nice green top. Do you know,
Yeah.
it just comes out my mouth, do you know? And I have never had backlash for it. I maybe have guys kind of look at me when I'm in a lift and I go, oh, you smell nice. Do you know? But then they look at me and they'll go, they're not really sure what to say, but they go, oh, thanks. I go, no, I says, it's really lovely. What is it? And I'll usually get a tip as to what to buy Paul for his Christmas or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just popped that up, but I said, do you think that I don't get any bother about giving compliments because I'm a woman?
We're getting into gender dynamics here.
Oh, wow. Now, I just did it. I was in a good mood, just put it out there, never thought anything of it. Do you know how many impressions that post has got? It got within about 6 days.
Tell me.
123,000. Now, if anybody's used to being on LinkedIn, that algorithm is grumpy. I mean, it is a seriously grumpy algorithm in LinkedIn.
Rough.
Oh, it's rough, rougher than a rough thing. And the most I've ever had was, what, 33,000 or something? And that was a few years ago when I had a bikini top on. So we were never sure whether it was a bikini top or if it was actually what I was talking about. And I think you've had about 75. You know, I had about 75,000 or something.
You're saying that as if you haven't went through my LinkedIn to see if you've got more than
No,
me.
you really don't. Do you know why I remember? It's because it wasn't long after I'd got the 33 and we thought that was amazing that you won an award and you were at an awards ceremony and you'd put up a post and you could not wait to phone to tell me that you'd beaten my LinkedIn. Do you know?
Oh, it was the same awards that we went to.
All right. So there you go. But
Anyway.
123,000. Now, there was about 300 and odd comments and reactions on it. A mixture of men and women. The lovely thing was that there wasn't a lot of men bashing going on. So go women. Do you know? It really wasn't. Do you know how you can usually get the men bashers out?
But
That are saying because you're saying a positive thing about a guy, then it must mean that you don't think there's anything negative. And that's not true. I mean,
I think when it comes to social media and things like that, it totally depends how you worded it. Like, see if you wrote the post and says, oh, there was this like pure creepy guy that worked in the train, like giving me loads of compliments. Like, depends how you word it. Then the men bashers would be in the comments, but
I don't be
because
jumping on the back of it.
you framed it in a way that would make them look bad in the comments.
That's good. Do you know, it's really funny actually, because there was one that immediately jumped in and said, well, I'm glad to see you've never had a bad experience and I'm pleased for you. And I was just like, no, hold on, pet. Can I just clarify? I didn't say I haven't had a bad experience when it comes to that whole gender thing, because I live daily with power plays from men, ego bullying attempts and everything else, and when you're in a leadership position and
That's
business.
just from Paul.
And I said, oh, if ever there was a man who is least likely to do that, it is him. Oh my gosh. It's like Paul would that. If Paul was a dog, what kind of dog would he be?
Labrador.
He would be a Labrador, that's what I would say. Absolutely. Gentle, inherently kind, balanced, insightful. He's a Labrador.
He is.
Aye. Anyway, we diverse. But yeah, so the positive was that there was only one like that who then went on to repost to give me a bashing, but then she took it down because nobody reacted. But do you know what the majority was, Emily? There was some really heartfelt comments from men. Do you know, saying things like that they've stopped giving compliments altogether because it's too risky. How rubbish is that?
It is. It's just like that small majority ruin it for everybody. Like, there is so many lovely guys that just are really genuine just so genuine. Like, I've had compliments from guys of all ages, and you just know that it's never coming from a bad place.
No, I think the thing that brought up for me is that for something that's meant to be positive, it really depends on context, cultural norms, personal conflict, personal comfort levels. You know, some people I'll welcome them because I'm in a place of, I would say, open receivership to all, do you know? And I don't need to be judging. I kind of see people as good before I would ever see them bad. I believe humanity is inherently good. And a compliment now doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. I will be confident enough in myself to go, "Thanks very much," do you know,
Yeah.
rather than shy away. But if you're not able to do that, then you might feel disrupted and not receive it very well. And that might just be because your face looks grumpy and you don't say anything back. So the compliment giver thinks, well, she's a grumpy cow.
Yeah. But that also works like both ways, I suppose, because for a woman to give a compliment, obviously not everybody, but there are some people that would take it as like, oh, she fancies, like, that's you, like, giving a olive branch. Oh, your shirt's nice. Oh, you think my shirt's nice? Like,
And I'm not saying that there would be people who receive like that, like men, but that would happen in women, because I think there's also an unspoken bit that a woman, you know, if you've done yourself up, you've got yourself smelling nice, you actually think you're looking hotter than a hot thing on hot tablets. And then somebody doesn't give you a compliment or doesn't look at you twice, or, do you know, because that stuff's there as well.
yeah. And I suppose even for me, if I was dressed up to go on a night out and a guy that I thought was quite good looking did give me probably just a harmless comment of, oh, you look lovely, or I like your shoes or your bag, I'd be like, oh, do you?
Thanks very much.
Even if it was just one of those comments that are just meant to be nice.
Yeah, I think it's that thing of, I think it's on both sides. You can be thinking where the intention's coming from. Do you know, maybe particularly if a man gives a compliment, a woman might think there's an unspoken expectation in it.
Yeah.
Do you know, like the attention, validation, do you know? I always kind of say to myself, would I say what I'm saying to a woman, would I say it to a man? And if I'm saying to a man, would I say it to a woman? And actually, it's always yes. I don't say
Yeah.
one to one and not to another at all.
Depends where
But
you are, though,
yeah,
and what you're
well,
doing.
that really does. Context is absolutely key. And that came through in all of the comments. So some people, guys, were saying that they just stopped it. It wasn't worth it. Other ones really just said that women didn't receive it well. So there was quite a few that said things like they held open doors or offered their seat in a bus. And a woman would turn around and go, I can deal with that myself, thank you very much. And you just want to slap her.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I mean, another woman who's got a decent head on would just go, get a grip of yourself, pet.
Yeah.
What happened to what's the word? Not gentlemanliness. What's the word?
Chivalry.
Chivalry. Huh. And it was actually, Paul made a really good comment when we were sitting discussing it the last week. And he said, you know, the challenge is that we're actually trying to change 15,000 years of evolution in 200 years. Do you know, if you think about the Industrial Revolution, travel, do you know, just connectivity, everything has just had this massive impact on culture. And we're actually trying to change what men and women have historically been in roles over 15,000 years in 200.
Yeah.
There, that's deep for you. And I thought that's exactly the challenge. And we're feeling the disruption of it as we're trying to, you know, drive towards equality, inclusiveness. recognising the flaws of our past and our history in lots of ways. And we're trying to do it not just on a local level, but on a global level. It's massively difficult. Massively difficult.
Yeah. Like in Dubai, for example, I don't give compliments. I would, if I was back home, I would say to somebody, "Oh, you smell lovely." Even a woman, women especially. Maybe not a guy unless like I knew him or like it was, the right sort of vibe. But like a woman, I would have no issue saying, "Oh, you smell lovely," or "Oh, you look really nice," or "I like your bag," or
Yeah.
say what I'm thinking because I know it's nice to receive. But over here, no way. There's been times I've said to somebody, "Oh, you smell lovely," and they look at me as if I've just undressed them with my eyes, like,
That's not good.
and they go like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
And I was
But
like,
that's
"No,
down to context again. And I actually think that's down to self-awareness. You are very aware of self-awareness, and social awareness has to be quite high to understand when to do it and when not to do it. And as human beings, we are all on different levels at different times of our life with that. So I, at your age, if I try and reflect back, would I have said as openly compliments in the way that I do now? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Now,
yeah,
that could have been because of the time, just a different decade, different rules. It could have been because of my age and my own confidence. Who knows? But I wouldn't have done it back then. And I wouldn't have done it in Dubai when I came to visit you either, because I was so aware that I wasn't tuned into the cultural expectation. And people's faces look different. They're, like if I walk through, say I walk through Edinburgh, there's a really diverse group of people always coming and going through Edinburgh as a capital city. If I
yeah,
stand at a bus stop, nobody's talking to one another. If I walk through Glasgow, sometimes you just want people to be quiet because you need a bit of peace and quiet, I can stand at a bus stop and guaranteed there'll be a couple of people who'll chat to me. Or I'll walk past somebody on Sauchiehall Street and you give a wee smile. You don't even say anything, you just smile at each other and you go past.
yeah,
There's so much of communication is in your non-verbals. And when I went to Dubai, I was really aware of the lack of non-verbal expression. I couldn't read people, and I
yeah,
knew massive cultural distances between us, and I didn't understand that gap yet. So I kept myself to myself, and I never really said very much. I would never dream of. I never spoke to anybody in the lifts or anything, which is not like me.
no, I don't. I don't. If I'm in the lift, depends who it is, and like again, like the vibe that they're given. But I usually don't really say hi
Mhm.
to a stranger in the lift because they never say hi back. Like the other
Yeah.
day, like it's just habit though. Like the other day, sometimes I do come in and I go, "Oh hi," and they're like, "Who are you?
It's
Like why
funny
are you
that.
speaking to me?" But even
Yeah.
like things like holding the door open for somebody,
Say
like I did
thank
it.
you.
Yeah, say thank you. I did it the other day for somebody and like I stood. They weren't like, we weren't walking through the door at the same time, but I saw them coming towards the door. So I stopped at the door and stood and held it open for them. It wasn't like an awkward amount of time of doing it's just the right amount of time for you to stand somewhere but hold the door open.
Yeah.
Opened it and she didn't even give me eye contact. She just walked right past me through the door. And I was standing there holding the door open. I thought,
But then,
why did I
I
bother?
know, why do you bother? But then that's actually your issue and not hers. She didn't ask you to hold the door open. You're in a different cultural environment I always think people don't intend to harm you most of the time, 99% of the time. But if there's no cultural expectation to say please and thank you like that, then she doesn't think she's done anything wrong.
Yeah, I think she
Oh.
just caught me off guard because I would have assumed she would have been somebody that would have said thank you or appreciated it.
And that's why you maybe did it.
And that's why I did it. Like I got
Mhm.
the vibe wrong, obviously.
Yeah. So that's all about our expectations that we've set prior to the action. And it's all going on in our own heads. And then it isn't met. And then it feels like they've hurt you.
Yeah.
Do you know, they've disrespected you.
Yeah.
And then you just get raging at them. But actually, it's about, well, what did I do there to allow myself to feel like that? Yeah, it's a toughie. It really is a toughie. I think it also brought up for me that whole thing. I think we touched on it just as we started the conversation about, you know, when you get a compliment, how you can often, and I find this with women a lot, is that you can downplay it.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. You know, oh, you look gorgeous. Oh no, my hair's a mess. You know, I couldn't get to sit right today. I've got to get my roots done. Oh, downplaying it instead
Or
of
you do that wee, like, I find myself doing this sometimes. I don't really tend to say, oh, I look a mess. Like, to me, that feels really attention seeking. I would
yeah.
cringe at myself if I said that, but I sometimes go, oh, thanks. Like, as if I'm really shy.
And you're not.
And I'm not, but like, you should just say thank you.
Uh-huh. That's a really
Or,
kind thing to say.
I know,
Because I'll often give
don't say
that
that.
bit back when I'll go, oh, I really appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that. That's made me feel really good. I was feeling a wee bit tired before you said that, so thank you.
Or there's, as well, if somebody says, oh, you look lovely today, there's that thing that you do that you instantly go, oh, you look lovely, to like deflect it again from
Yeah.
it all being on you.
Yeah. No, totally. So it's like, how do we start to get a culture where we own it? But that goes back to our own self-confidence, our own self-leadership, our own self-awareness. Without that, you're not in a position to be able to read others if you're not able to read yourself very well.
Yeah.
Why would you be able to do that? And that's sometimes where I think where everything I've done in my life, you know, like clinical, behaviourally, all that kind of world that I've lived in, allows you to kind of read situations most of the time pretty accurately. Do you know, when you know the person to cuddle, you know the person not to. You know the person to give a compliment, you know the person not to give any energy to.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a skill, though.
Yeah. There's been so many times since I've been here that I'll be out, or like me and Caitlin, for example, is the time I would say it out loud. But if I'm with Caitlin and we maybe walk past a girl or we drive past somebody and we think, look at her outfit, like, oh my gosh, she looks stunning today. And then we would actually say to each other, like, I wish I could tell her that.
Yeah, totally. Imagine how you would feel. How would you feel if you were out and somebody stopped and went, listen, I'm just going to tell you that outfit is amazing. I love it. Where did you get your top?
Yeah, it's
You're
the
like,
best thing ever.
it's the best thing ever. I go, oh,
Yeah.
it's Zara. Do you know, it was last season, so you might not get it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get it in a size up. It's
Aye.
probably what I would be telling them.
It's wee things though like that. Like, do you remember when you were in Dubai last year and we went to IKEA?
Yes.
Do you remember the woman chased me out the shop?
Oh, so dead.
I
Just to
still
see
think
him.
about that.
Wow.
Yeah. So context, we were in IKEA and we were walking out like the food court bit, like exiting the shop, and this woman that worked there ran after us, like, excuse me.
Shy.
And we turned around and we were like, as if like we'd stolen something.
Going
She was like, I just need to say, I think you're really beautiful.
You were like gushing.
Yeah. Like, I
You were
still think about that though.
You were like that. Oh, God, that's lovely. And I was going, oh, I made her. But does that mean I'm beautiful?
Then the conversation was done. Like, she was like,
It was done. She was off. I wasn't in the conversation. It was really lovely though. Really,
Yeah.
really beautiful. And came at a time actually, because everybody knows what it's like once you've been round IKEA, you know, 25,000 steps later and 14 meatballs. You're exhausted. And suddenly we had energy as we skipped back to the car.
Yeah, you think, oh,
that was lovely. So I suppose it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think sometimes from what I read from all those comments, was that it wasn't actually about giving the compliment, it was about how and when you give it. So
Yep.
context and how you deliver it is really, really important. And that comes back to self-awareness, I think, with it all. There was one interesting comment though, and it was from a gentleman who shared that he felt that this pressure in society and is making men lose their voice. Do you know that they can't show chivalry or, do you know, get asked, give compliments, and it can affect their mental health and affect their own self-worth. Because you're not able to express yourself in the way that you feel is natural to express yourself. And I thought that was really interesting.
I don't think that's why chivalry is dead.
So tell me more.
It's just the digital world. Like, it just doesn't exist anymore. Things are too accessible for chivalry to exist. If one girl doesn't like it, there'll be another.
Oh God, that's awful.
It is awful.
Say,
It is awful, but it's fact.
If one girl doesn't like it, there'll be another. That's awful.
I'm not saying if one guy. It's the way that they think these days. I'm telling you.
It's terrible. I mean, it just shows you how we don't live. From what you've just said, what's coming to my head is that we don't live in a sense of the present world. Do you know, what am I doing right now? Who is in front of me right now? What opportunity is there right now? We're so busy looking out to the horizon and to 123,000 impressions on LinkedIn. But what does it actually mean? What does it mean? Do you know Paul this week actually? And he just does this automatically. We were going out to the car and sometimes because he can't see as well at night with his glasses on, I'll drive at night time, and it was getting a wee bit dark. So I saw him go towards the the passenger side. And I thought to myself, oh, it looks like I'm driving then. And I went round to the driver's side to open the door, and he looked at me and he had the door open. He went, "Where are you going?" He says, "I'm just holding the door open for you." And he knew I had a sore knee, and that's a whole other story. And he was just making sure that I got into the car okay, that he was taking my bag off me. And there was that bit I really liked, that feeling of being so cared for and somebody considering me ahead of what I was actually considering myself. He was really present.
I mean, that is so lovely, but that's not how it is anymore.
You're missing out. Well, what's it going to be like then in relationships? If you have got I think that whole thing teaches you about awareness about yourself, about what you feel comfortable with, about how to read others, about good communication. It teaches you so much. So what is a relationship and a marriage and a partnership going to be like?
That's why they're not great now. Like,
wow.
Because it is like everything is so accessible. Why would they hold a door open for somebody when somebody does they care what he does?
It's that mentality that a young man would think nobody cares what he does.
And I'm not saying every guy, I'm not saying everyone, but that's the sort of mentality a lot of them have. Like, there's so much online.
What would that say about their own self-worth, though?
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not everybody, but that is just the kind of societal way of thinking at the moment.
We need to hear from some young men as to what they think about this whole conversation.
Come on, as if they're going to agree with what I'm saying.
As if they're going to listen to this podcast.
Or listen to this podcast.
If you do listen to this podcast and you've got a young guy in your family, in your network, as a friend group, ask him. Ask him how he feels about it all. Because I'd love to hear that.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're horrible people. Like, there are really nice guys and really nice, loyal guys, but that whole chivalry thing, like holding doors open, the traditional thing is not they wouldn't do that. They would maybe do other things, but that traditional thing, not so much.
Wow. Wow. It was like when we were coming in, there's a shop down beside where we live, and as I was coming out the door or going towards the door, he was coming out and he'd started to walk down the street, and he actually, because it was quite dark, and he stopped and walked all the way back, and he went, "Oh, I nearly forgot that Chivalry was dead there. It does still exist. Let me get your bags." Oh, cute, because my arms were hanging off. I was like an orangutan by the time I'd humped that for the car. And I was so grateful to be able to do that so I could seat the door and get in. How lovely is that? Now,
How old was he?
Just a bit younger than me, so in his 40s.
Well,
There you go. But would a younger guy have thought, oh, there's somebody needing a help? If I saw a guy struggling with bags, I would stop and say, a guy, listen, do you want a wee hand? It's just another human being. Just like I would stop and help a mum with her buggy, or if a wee one falls off a bike, or, do you know?
yeah, that's true.
I would just do it. So anyway, it brought up some really interesting stuff with it. And it just shows you, it goes back to why we started this podcast, just about how disconnected we actually are. And what are the barriers to being able to be more connected? And if you can't give somebody a compliment and recognise somebody's strength and beauty and worth, it's a sad day. And if we think from this conversation and from those comments, there's never been such an important time for us to be focused on self-leadership. But Emily, see, listening to all of that, what's your final thoughts on it? What do you think about everything we've been discussing?
I think if you're a guy, don't be scared to give a compliment. Maybe watch the tone of voice. Read the room. Is it going to be received well? It's okay if it's not. That's okay. Yeah. If you're a woman, if somebody gives you a compliment, not everything comes from a bad place. So again, just be aware and assume the best in people and just take it, because regardless of whatever way it was given, if you look nice, you look nice. So see the bright side. If you're given a compliment, just say thanks. Take it. Don't beat around the bush. Just take the compliment and move on. You don't need to give one back.
No.
Or you can if you want, but take the compliment. Don't downplay it. It's been given to you for a reason. And I think that's me for the day.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Well, I think we just need to get more present and be able to do more work at an earlier age on self-awareness, self-belief, self-value, because the more you understand self and that self-awareness and social awareness, it will help in that whole complement dilemma that we've been exploring today.
Yeah. So put it down in the comments what your thoughts are. Is chivalry dead or not? Tell us your thoughts.
Is chivalry dead? I so hope not. No, I so hope not.
I'm not sure.
No. Well, I hope compliments aren't dead. I think compliments that's a different thing altogether. I hope compliments aren't dying. No. And that we can start to nurture in a new way how to value each other and express our value of one another day to day. I really do.
100%.
So that's another episode done, Emily. Another hangout with my daughter, which is always a joy.
Not spoke to you much?
No, this week we really haven't, have we? We've been kind of head down and getting on with it. It's been more sending pictures and wee messages rather than hopping on video calls or anything.
Yeah.
But wee top tip, right? Do you know how we lost our hairdresser, who was the best blow dryer in the world when he retired?
Oh, miss you, John.
Miss you, John. But I have found you another John.
Well, that's not good to me.
No, but when you come home, he has the best blow dryer. Oh my gosh, don't look at my hair today if you're watching this video, because I never, ever managed to have my hair like from one day to next. I always wash my hair every day. And I had my hair with the same style for 3 days after he blow dried it.
That's impressive for your hair.
Imagine what he would do with yours.
Mine would be fine till the next time I saw him. 6
You
months'
would?
time.
So I said to him, wait till Emily comes home. So there you are. And guess what his name is?
John.
John.
What?
And he's a guy about, yeah, he's the same thing, guy about my age, do you know, and just the best blow dry in the world. So,
do you know what that means though?
What?
He might retire soon as well.
No, he says he's not. He says he's got at least 3 years in him.
3 years? That is soon. He'll be gone by the time I come back.
He won't. He'll still be there. He's just on my doorstep as well. So I was thinking this morning, I wonder if I could go there like twice a week and just get him to wash and blow dry my hair, because I hate doing it.
You could. People do that.
Maybe I will. I'll think about it.
Once a week.
Once a week for a wee blow dry, a wee cheeky blow dry on a Friday, so my hair's looking pretty all weekend.
Yeah.
I might do that. Self-worth, self-value, all of that. So on that cheeky hair note, shall we say au revoir?
Time to say goodbye.
It is indeed. I feel like bursting into song. So we will be back here, same time, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, same place at the
Distance Diaries.
You sure will, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you here back then. So sending love to you all from Scotland and Dubai. And we'll see you back here, same time next week.
Bye.
Ciao for now. Thanks for spending time with us on the Distance Diaries.
We hope you laughed, maybe learned something, and most importantly, felt a little more connected.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a little connection too.
And join us on Instagram and TikTok at the Distance Diaries Podcast for sneak peeks, behind the scenes fun, and much more.
We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Until then, stay connected, no matter the miles.